Hello and welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring. As some of you may know, a few months back I reviewed a product from Steamforged Games called the Tavern Kit. It's a really cool box set crammed with tips, tricks, plot hooks, NPCs, locations, maps, cards, player aids, mini-games and accessories to help dungeon masters run really engaging tavern encounters. You can find my full review for the Tavern Kit linked in the video description below, but suffice to say, I was rather taken with it. And it would seem I wasn't the only one, as the Tavern Kit was recently nominated for an Ennie. The Ennies are a kind of People's Choice Award, and the Tavern Kit was nominated in their Best Aid or Accessory Non-Digital category. Voting has already closed at this point, and the winners will be announced at the beginning of August, but I would say the Tavern Kit has got to be a really strong contender here because it's so useful. One of the really fun things about the Tavern Kit is that it contains information about 10 specific taverns, each of which is haunted by a monstrous entity of some kind. A witch who murders patrons as they leave, a ghost pirate who press gangs drunks into eternal servitude on his ghostly galleon, or a bat demon feeding off the guilt following a brutal murder. Each of these stories can be fleshed out by purchasing the associated Local Legends Encounter pack, which will include the miniatures, maps and information for you to be able to create a climactic resolution to your hero's time at the tavern. And it just so happens that recently Steamforged Games sent me a few Local Legends packs to review, so today we're going to take a quick look at the Griffon Encounter. In the past I have been naturally drawn to the creepier sets, the ones populated with ghosts, ghoulies and things that go bump in the night. But just look how good this Griffin looks. What self-respecting dungeon master wouldn't want to add this majestic monster to their menagerie? All of these encounter packs follow a similar format. They all come with window display packaging to showcase the miniatures. Here you are getting the Griffin and one of its hapless victims. And then you get a booklet full of rules and stats for running the encounter, plus a nice battle map. The encounters are designed so you can run them straight out of the box without using the Tavern Kit, but when used in conjunction with the Tavern Kit, you can really flesh out your storytelling. The Griffin has been causing trouble for the locals at the Golden Griffin Club. This prestigious location is fully explored in the pages of the Tavern Kit's Tavern Book, where you will find inside and outside location descriptions, a menu of club specialities, some fun plot hooks to get your imagination fired up, and some background information on the local legend. For each tavern you get a list of NPCs, and their biographies are included in the separate NPC book. And a fun little feature is that each one of them has a small nugget of potentially accurate, potentially useful information about the local legend. The more that heroes interact with the locals, get into discussions, fist fights, drinking competitions and side quests, the more they will learn about what's going on here. I should also mention that the Tavern Kit includes interior and exterior maps for the taverns to help your heroes better visualize their surroundings, plus you get art cards for all the NPCs. The art cards are fun because they are a shortcut to help heroes get a quick first impression of these NPCs, but the cards can also be placed on the maps to show where the NPCs are currently sitting, and you can use the cards as handouts, perhaps artists' impressions of a suspect or a wanted poster. But anyway, back to the Griffin. What a lovely chunk of plastic it is. It's a decent size, filling a good amount of the box's window display, and I thought it was really interesting that it also came with a stricken messenger trapped under his horse. That's a really clever idea, as it's something a bit different that you can put on your tabletop to help sell the scene, either serving as an NPC the heroes must save, or simply representing a previous victim whose shattered remains serve as a warning to the heroes to watch the skies. The miniatures are well sculpted and well detailed, and they come pre-assembled so you can get them straight to the tabletop without trimming or gluing. The Griffin is on a 50mm base, but it should be noted the wingspan is considerably wider, and it has a really strong regal pose. Really lovely. Also, as with all of the Epic Encounters miniatures, there is an integrated scenic element to the base. I personally like that even though there is a scenic element, the miniature is still mounted on a standard 50mm round base. It keeps things regimented and consistent, and it's easier to use the miniature in other gaming systems. The Fallen Messenger isn't on a standard base, it's more of a terrain element than a miniature, but if it was mounted up it would fit perfectly on a 50mm base as well. I think it's really well done, and it has some gruesome details like the rends in the horse's flanks from the Griffin attack. My one complaint is a real nitpick. The horse's head isn't flush with the bottom of the miniature, so when the piece is sitting on your tabletop, the head is floating a couple of millimeters in the air and it looks noticeably incomplete. The storyline here, spoilers for anyone who isn't a dungeon master, is the Griffin is killing riders on the road if they are trying to deliver messages to the Golden Griffin. I won't go into the reasons, that's for the heroes to figure out, but it does mean the roads around the tavern aren't safe for anyone unlucky enough to be delivering a message. That could be a great way to introduce your party to this storyline. Give them a delivery side quest, and then have them attacked briefly by the Griffin, setting up a real mystery. For such an encounter, you will need a battlefield, and this set includes a decent one. It's a section of road and the remains of a campsite that has been decimated by the Feathered Fiend. These maps are only single-sided, which is a shame, but if you collect several Local Legends kits, you very quickly start to amass a useful collection of environments to battle in. The 12-page booklet starts with an overview of the encounter, including some information on how to scale the challenge for parties of different levels. Then we get our information on the nature of the local legends for people who are using this pack without the Tavern Kit. Remember, these encounters are standalone products, the Tavern Kit just gives them more texture and adds tools for scaling them up to bigger plotlines. One of the neat things here is there is a table that lists potential benefits the heroes can gain based on how successfully they researched and tracked the Griffin before fighting it. These benefits range from figuring out a way of using the sun to their advantage to dazzle the swooping Griffin, to gaining advantage on ranged attacks to force the Griffin to land. Next we have more information regarding the battle map, with details on the road, the position and nature of the stricken horse and rider, and the location of some powder kegs the Griffin will use as bombs to scare off the heroes. One interesting thing is 3 locations are specified for these kegs, yet there is no artwork for them on the map. I wonder if this was a late addition that wasn't reflected in the artwork, or if the original plan was to include some barrel miniatures. Fortunately, I have plenty of scatter terrain at my disposal, including barrels. Moving on, we have a 3-stage combat plan to help dungeon masters run the combat. In each stage, several strategies are listed which can lead to an epic, memorable boss battle. Perhaps the Griffin will start with a diving ambush, gaining surprise on its first strike, before blasting the heroes off their feet with its mighty wings. Then it will snatch a powder keg and drop it like a bomb. Lots of fun ideas here to pick at. Finally, there is a page of D&D 5th edition compatible stats and skills for the Griffin. These are all pretty standard. The Griffin is a powerful flying creature that wants to beat you up. The only complaint I have is that, as with other Local Legends sets, there are no guidelines here for scaling the Griffin for lower level parties. Some extra stat blocks would have been useful. But overall, this is a great little set. Cool miniatures, a cool plot with a rogue creature systematically isolating a tavern by eliminating any messengers in or out, and lots of tips and advice for dungeon masters. It's fun as it is, but combining it with the Tavern Kit really elevates it, and it's amazing how many ideas you will start coming up with as you read through NPC backstories or even just looking through the history of the Golden Griffin Club. The next step for me is to think up a quick and easy way to get this awesome miniature painted and ready for the table, but that's for another day. The Local Legends Griffin Encounter is available now. Check with your favourite stockist or order direct from the Steamforged Games website using the link in the video description below. And as always, thank you so much for watching, keep one eye on the sky, and if you like this video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really like the video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so, and hopefully I will see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone, bye bye.